Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Chena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascha Chadesha Tarane. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we'd like to say a few words about our remembering the great Vaishnava, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, very dear to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's mission. Very early in his devotional life, he's serving Prabhupada personally by cooking and rendering selfless service very enthusiastically. Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I spent a little more time with him in the early 90s when he was preparing that film, Abhay Charan film, which was actually his tatiksha Karunika Suhrida Sarvadehanam. He's a Vaishnava, he's a sadhu, and a sadhu is very concerned about freeing all the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya, from the illusion. So Srila Prabhupada's preaching spirit and the mission of the Guru Parampara was infested. He was empowered by Srila Prabhupada, and in appreciation of his divine spiritual master and the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the gift of Srila Prabhupada to give us this Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vedic knowledge, Bhakti Charu Maharaj organized a whole theater, a film production crew, and on many occasions during our Vrindavan festivals when devotees would come from Mayapur, especially during Gaur Purnima time, we had the Mayapur then Vrindavan festival, and I'd often go out to the Kusum Sarovar, Govardhan, different parts of Vrindavan and Govardhan areas where Bhakti Charu Maharaj had his whole film crew set up with cameras, and he always took the time in a very friendly way to appreciate others. Although busy, very busy in Krishna's service, very cultured, and greatly compassionate sadhu. So this is the gift of Srila Prabhupada, that he's converted all of us into wanting to have Krishna consciousness. Oftentimes we'd meet Bhakti Charu Maharaj in his world travels in Mayapur for the festivals. Here in Vrindavan, we had a special 40th anniversary of Krishna Balaram Mandir opening. Bhakti Charu Maharaj spent several days with us here. I remember he invited several of his godbrothers and senior devotees to his room where he had some special cooking happening, some special Bengali dishes, also some Western dishes, pizza. But he was always very conscientious of the treatment of his godbrothers and acting like a gentleman in the Vaishnava culture. This is the symptom of a sadhu. Simply by seeing him and his behavior, it's very much attractive to bring one towards Krishna consciousness. We sat down together in Atlanta during the Panihati festival. We again had a gathering. He very much enjoyed bringing all his godbrothers together and also devotees, and just honoring Prasadam and glorifying Prabhupada, glorifying the Supreme Lord. And during those talks, Shrudakirti Prabhu was there, Tejo Prakash, a few other godbrothers. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj had a plan. His plan is, let's do many programs where we can bring all the old godbrothers back to Prabhupada's lotus feet, his shelter. Sometimes in youth and zealous behavior, people joined the movement, maybe stay for some time, and due to challenges and difficulties, they leave. But the very fact that Prabhupada has so much feeling that great love and compassion for all of us, that Bhakti Charu Maharaj was extending that same love to all his god brothers, god sisters, in the attempt to unite the family, because we are a family, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj was traveling all over the world. His kirtan was very sweet. I know he was also learning. I had one music teacher, Nandalal Parekh, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj was also attending some classes, learning some beautiful ragas. So this is the Vaishnava culture. They want to sing nice bhajan, kirtan for Krishna. They want to glorify Krishna all over the world, just for the purpose of spreading this Bhagavat Dharma. Srila Prabhupada came to re-establish the religious principles. Unfortunately, in today's society, everybody is a Shudra. The Varnashram Dharma is not being executed properly. The leadership is run by Shudras, and their so-called advisors and ministers are also uneducated. Whereas in Vedic culture, the king was Rajarshi. He was a saintly king. He was a sadhu. And the Brahmanas and the great sages, because they contain the wisdom of the Vedas, they would give good guidance. So being a sannyasi, being empowered by Srila Prabhupada with this Bhagavat Shakti, he took the responsibility of taking so many disciples. It's not an easy job being guru. Kiba vipara kiba nashi shudra kene no ye Krishna tattva veta se guru hoy. One who knows the science of Krishna, science of Bhagavad Gita, and can convince others, he's qualified. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj, by his personal example, showed that he was a humble and very dedicated, loving servant of Srila Prabhupada. And that example is for his disciples, that is example for his admirers, all of us who are his well-wishers and also his servants. Because great saintly personalities, great powerful personalities, their pastimes are non-different than the Lord's pastimes. Sometimes people want to hear about Krishna and his various activities of the Gopas and Gopis in Vrindavan. But the Pandavas' activities, the activities of the great acharyas, the great devotees, Narada Muni, Shukadev Goswami, Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, also Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj. This is when Vena, King Vena, the cruel Vena, although born in a good family, had demonic qualities. The sages and the sadhus, they killed him because he was not following religious principles and causing havoc for the people. But from his body came Prithu, a Shaktyavesh incarnation of the Supreme Lord, empowered by the power of God. All the great demigods, Brahma, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Yamaraj, they all came, give wonderful gifts. He even got some special magic slippers. He just puts on those magic slippers. He is empowered to go anywhere and do everything. So in the same way, Srila Prabhupada gave these very powerful gifts to his sincere disciples and sincere followers. We should always remember the sacrifice of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, because his sacrifice was the same sacrifice as Srila Prabhupada and all the Guru Parampara, to give Krishna consciousness to those who are blinded by the illusion of material life, thinking there's some happiness in this material world when there's no happiness. Like animals in the desert running after the mirage of water. The mirage disappears and you simply die in frustration. So this is the mission. Even at the very last days, for preaching purposes, he traveled even during dangerous times. So somehow Krishna has his plan. Not a blade of grass moves without his sanction. Sometimes he leaves, and sometimes the pure devotee leaves us and makes our separation even deeper and more intimate, makes our desire to be in their association. And when we're in the association of the Mahabhagavat, the Bhagavat, then the door of liberation is wide open. But if we keep the association of those who are miserly, cruel, simply addicted to this materialistic lifestyle, then the gateway to hell is open. So we want to follow the footprints of Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Very simple, very transparent, clear devotional service with no motive for Srila Prabhupada other than to give pleasure to his Guru Maharaj, to free the suffering of the conditioned souls, to give guidance to his disciples and followers. And this is what Vyasa Puja is all about, appearance days and disappearance days. They're all the same. It's awakening our memory of Krishna, awakening our memory of our eternal constitutional position, Jivera Swarupoi Krishner Nitya Das. We're eternal servants of Krishna. Bhakti Charu's love and friendship showed me that he cares, his genuine personality, saintly personality, very much in love with Srila Prabhupada, very much in love with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very much in love with Radha Shyama Sundar Krishna Balaram. And this is the goal of us all. So on this wonderful, glorious day, let us always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Let us remember His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My humble obeisances at the lotus feet of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.